Welcome to another episode of Change. With every new episode, we also try to bring a newer aspect of change to you. Today, technology has enabled us to do whatever we want. At a touch of button, we can have the access to information of the entire world. Nothing is prohibited today. Even though if it is prohibited, if there is a restriction on it, there are ways and means of getting through it, getting past it. Not only it is alarming, but also it gives you a freedom to explore whatever you want. Is it a good thing to have this freedom? Or there must be some check on what we access. Let's talk about this. Freedom, something which is very dear to me. I would never want to give that up. But what does this freedom entitle me to? We have Rajyogini Brahma Kumaris Sister Usha with us in the studio. Didi, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
The changing trends of technology. Once upon a time, technology meant something which required a special skill to operate that technology. But slowly, technological changes happened and cars came in, super fast cars came in. Now there are hybrid cars which have come. Technology has also influenced the way that we live. It has brought in comforts. The Gen X, Gen Y and Gen Z and the millennials are easy with these changes because these changes are happening in their lifetime and they're young and they can make changes very quickly. But people who were born a decade before, they're finding it a little challenging. Let's not, even if we would want to question ourselves to the age of our parents or maybe grandparents, it's becoming a little challenging for them.
Definitely,
to see what is happening.
Because nowadays when everything is like paying the bills of digital, anything, so to know how to use those apps, maybe it is very difficult for the elderly people and they have no one besides them. And all these years throughout their life, they were always standing in lines, queues and paying off their bills. And now everything is at the tip of the finger.
Yeah.
So technology definitely has brought in something very beautiful also, making life more easy. But at the same time, there are definitely some harmful effects also of those technology.
Many people say that the technology has made our life faster.
Faster.
What is your opinion on it?
Well, it has definitely made our life very fast. And then when we have time, what happens? People get addicted to something else. There are some misuse also of this technology, and it is because people have time. Because all their time which was consumed in small things like this, they had to wait and they have to go. So now when everything is in their hands and they pay off their bills, they do everything, then they are free. So what to do now? So sometimes not, I would say that with some intention, but unintentionally also, sometimes we find the kids, when they use the technology and they adapt to it very fast, before their parents come to know what they're doing, they go into such sites that they hardly can control themselves.
Before we move on to that, when you say the children having access to technology, I remember the first time I used computer was when I was in school. I think I was in class 7 or 8 and a computer teacher would bring us, and there were just 10 computers in the class, 30 students, and we would have to wait for our turn to get onto the computer.
Yeah.
And slowly in my own lifetime, I could see the changes happen rapidly. And by the time I was 16, I had a computer for myself. And children today, the younger ones who are coming after me, they are more lucky. I would use the term lucky because they have all of these privileges like tabs and cell phones and computers and laptops and so many different things are just naturally available to them. But do we grasp the reality of what is this going to lead us to? Do children really need cell phones at such an age? Do we allow that kind of liberty to do whatever they want at such a young age?
Actually, I remember that before, when PC was there, definitely some parents, they used to have spy cameras in the children's room so that they come to know what the children is watching or what is doing in their absence. But nowadays on the cell phone, when you get everything on the cell phone itself, no need for the PC or no need for the laptop. So it's impossible for the parents to monitor, because the moment the parents, they even tend to take a round to see what the child is doing, what is browsing at, immediately the child is also so smart that he can immediately change the screen. And we don't know how he does it. And that is why they believe in their children, they have faith in their children, and the children are doing something else which is against the principles, I would say, or the codes and conducts of human life.
There was a time frame for parents and elders and teachers and elder siblings to guide and help and teach them, enlighten them, educate them about what are the rights and wrongs of it. But today we live in an age where something is so fast, where there is no time. Simply the time has been taken away from us. And this we did not do deliberately. This happened because technology grew so fast and it brought in this access to us. And somewhere we feel that we are not at fault.
It's true, but I think this is where spirituality helps us. That a person can at least develop self-control. And when he does meditation, at a younger age also, he is able to patiently do what he wants to do and make right choices. But when there is no spiritual wisdom in a person, definitely he can go on to any sites. And hardly he realizes that he is just being swayed away into it. And he doesn't even realize that it will be very difficult for him to come back if he really wants to come back also. And that is when his mind is also affected by what he is browsing at and what he is seeing, and he gets perverted.
The first time a child actually sees something, sexual activity, or when he is given access to what really the human body goes through as a change, is at the age of 12, 11 or 12.
11, 12, yes.
And at 11 or 12, for a class 6th grade or 7th grade kid, would he be able to understand it or not? And this is a part of debate because children are trying to experiment with what they are seeing. And somehow the crime rates would go up, and for them to educate at this level has become mandatory for them.
Yes.
But the debate has striked already. But this is the debate for teenagers. But I'm saying that this debate took time. Internet happened 25 years ago, and suddenly we have come to a point and we have realized that, okay, this debate must happen at a national level. But what I'm concerned about is what happens to children who are younger than them. They have been given access at a much younger age now.
Much younger age. And I think, yes, at this age, when children go to such sites and they don't even realize, and they feel, yes, we want to experiment. To that extent, they would go. Before, in those days, even though if anybody got a little bit of understanding, still the girls were shy, the boys were shy, they would never come up. But today, there is no shyness.
Because we think that we live in an age of freedom and liberty, because that is how media shows you, that is how movies portray you, saying that, okay, boyfriend and girlfriend is okay, it's fine, there's nothing wrong. And sometimes you would say, you would listen to an 8-year-old boy who would say that, oh, she's my girlfriend, and I would laugh at it. I would say, like, you're 8 years old.
We think at the age of 8, we did not understand, so what this child must be understanding. But it's not that. He understands, and that's why he speaks.
Like you say that the child understands and he speaks. I would also argue saying that some of the children might not understand. They would be pretty innocent and they would just see something on TV and they would say, okay, she's my friend, she's a girlfriend. That's how it would happen. But what happens to parents? Like I said, I laughed at the kid when he said that he has a girlfriend and she is my girlfriend. I laughed at it literally. This is what happens to most of the parents because they do not cope up with this change, that it could be possible that he is spending more time with her or just talking or maybe sharing things. But the culture that has changed because of the advent of technology, that the access to television, for instance. Today, both parents working.
Yeah.
A child would come back from school. What would we do? He would watch TV. At certain age, he would watch cartoons. Let's say he is browsing channels. Let's say he sees something interesting, a movie, and he sits and watches a movie because before his parents come.
Yeah.
And that is what inspires him, because this is what life is like. At one age, you are supposed to get married, so it's nothing wrong in having a girlfriend.
Yeah. And that is when, before the parent realizes, the child is out to do something, an experiment. And the day when the parents come to know, it is like a shock for them. But because they did not know, or they gave that freedom to that child, and that is why maybe today parents are afraid of giving that freedom, and they are trying to control their children, but then it is impossible to control their children also, especially in the West. No parents have the right to control their children. In India, still okay, we have that right given to the parents, and what they say, although the child may rebel, but still after some time he has to listen because there is no other option for him. Recently, I met a family, and it was a middle class family. And there are two girls. One girl was at the age of getting married. So she was getting whatever she wanted because she was studying in her last years. So she got a PC of her own, she got a cell phone, everything. But the younger one, which was about 6 to 7 years younger to that elder one, seeing her, she was also under this competition. I want a PC of my own, I want a cell phone of my own. The parents said, well, she is going to get married. She needs to talk with her husband, the to-be husband. So she has to have. And we'll give you one year later maybe. When she goes away, then we have you. And you can have her PC and everything. So why buy at this time a new PC? But that girl would never understand. She would not understand that my father is a middle class person and he is thinking about getting her elder daughter married, and in that he has to spend a lot of money. So she is not able to calculate all these things. And she is so stubborn, I want it. And if you are not giving me, means you are having partiality between us two sisters. You love her more and you don't love me. So the parents brought that daughter to me. Can you explain to her? Both the children are children for us. We love both of them equally. But why does she get this feeling from us that they love the elder one more than me? So I was just talking to that young girl, who was about 13, 14, not more than that, I think 12, 13, 14, between that age. So I said, how did you get this feeling that your parents don't love you? So she said that my elder sister, whatever she asks for, immediately they will give her. They won't have any excuse for her. And whenever I ask for something, they always have an excuse for me. So that means they love her more than me, definitely. So I then started gradually making the child understand, look, she's your sister. For the parents, today you're too young to understand this, but the day when you grow old, you have two sons or two children, that's the time you'll understand that you love both of them. But because your elder sister is going away now, they need to accumulate the money also and you are not that hi-fi people who have everything and they need everything to spend in her wedding time also. After that, you are the only one who is remaining. So then definitely you will get everything what you wish. But now you should also understand your parents. So then she started understanding. And she said, okay, but at least they can give me a phone. I won't ask for a PC now, okay. At least give me a cell phone. So the mother said, but you use my cell phone, no? No, I don't want that cell phone. I want a cell phone, a smartphone for my own.
See, this is the point where people want things for themselves. The piece of technology is no longer a commodity. It is something related to personal pride now. It's like, I have a bigger phone. Oh, that means, oh, I'm better than you. For example, there are some brands that people associate themselves with, like, oh, I have an iPhone. Suddenly you seem to feel that, oh, you are greater than the other person. But just because you have a higher brand or a newer phone, something which is little flashy, a newer version of technology, does not make you better than the other person.
Yeah. This girl was telling me, all my friends, they have smartphone. Why should I not have? Why is it that I'm being restricted? So I said, well, your friends must be having. That's not a problem. They will definitely give you. But at least till then, you should also understand them. And then she felt, means always I have to compromise, I have to understand. There's no one who is understanding me. And this is what children are doing. That they feel their parents, they don't understand them.
This is the point, you see, where children say that my parents do not understand me. The reason why they also think that they do not understand me is because of the parents' inability to cope up with the technology. They said, oh, Dad, you don't understand how these things run. They say, oh, you don't know how to do this. I'll download the app. I'll do it. You just leave me. So
and then maybe the children will advise their parents, okay, if you cannot afford a iPhone or if you cannot afford the expensive, at least give me a cheaper one.
A low version of it.
No.
This is our inability to cope up with the technology is also building our inability to deal with the relationship. Somewhere it creates a gap between us. It is very beautifully said that today we have cell phones, technologies to connect each other to different corners of the world, but yet it has created a gap between
in the family,
between the people living under the same roof.
Yeah.
And I would not say the positive or the negative of it, but I would want to close on this note that we live in a challenging time and technological changes have brought us these challenges with us. There is something that we have to change to deal with the changes that we are faced with.
And during these challenges, it is so necessary for us to make the right choices. What we give to the children or what the children also have to make a choice, what they really want in life.
I think it is for our friends to decide on that. And thank you very much for sharing those thoughts with us, Didi.
My pleasure.
We have come to a time where we have to make choices. Whether we want to change or not is no longer an option. The changes are upon us. It is for us to make a decision, to make a choice, and decide where we want to head. I think it is a difficult choice to make, but nonetheless, there is advice, there is guidance, there is wisdom that we can always rely upon. If nobody else, we have ourselves to rely upon. Let's dive within and see what we want to do really. That's all on this episode of Change. We'll see you again. Till then, take care.